Hey, this is Micki with Cat and Mouse Astrology. This is the new moon in Virgo, September the 2nd and 3rd, 2024. Cat's not with us this time. I'm doing this on my own, but she'll be back next moon. And this new moon is kind of a whopper. We've got it opposite Saturn loosely in Pisces, indicating that this new beginning, this new moon, which represents a new beginning, is kind of off to a slow start. Recommendation here is to meditate on Saturn keywords such as persistence, strength, stamina, and structure. All those ST words are those Saturnine words, and those can help us to focus on what it is that Saturn wants from us. Also, try not to blow things out of proportion. We've got Jupiter involved in this square, if you will, between Saturn and this moon. So Jupiter can sometimes make things a little bit bigger, and that's good if it's money, and it's bad if it's something else sometimes. So just beware that things can get out of control and keep things wrapped up into the Saturnine if you can. So we have a Sabian symbol here, and it is 11 degrees of Virgo. In her baby, a mother sees her deep longing for a child answered. And the keynote or suggested meaning or meditation is the spirit's answer to the vital needs of whatever became individualized out of its infinite ocean of possibilities or potentialities. So something to, again, meditate on. I kind of see this as, a fulfillment. This kind of fulfillment is often something we see more at a full moon than a new moon. But in Virgo, we're getting to a place of discerning for completion. It's the end of the sixth sign of the Virgo of the zodiac. So Virgo, having that role as the sixth sign, sometimes is really good at kind of wrapping things up, putting a bow on it, tying it nice and tight. So this new moon has an interpretation. There's several. One thing I would look at is, where do you need to slow down? Because Saturn is impacting this moon. It's within 5 degrees as an opposition. So we're feeling the pull between the get up and go of the new moon and the no, hold on, settle down, slow down, wait of Saturn. And what can you do to keep things from getting out of control or going too far? That could be a reaction to having to slow down. And again, that's Jupiter's involvement. And finally, watch out for erratic action caused by confusion, because in this mix, we have Mars square Neptune. And that means that the energy we're trying to use is lost in a fog. So this new moon here, you can take a look at these general interpretations here where we're coming from. And here's a look at the chart. We got a lot going on. You can see that we've got, again, the moon itself is here at 11 degrees. And way over here, we have Saturn in its opposition. It's up 4 to 5 degrees here. And we also have several other conflicting things going on in addition to the opposition. We've got between Uranus and Mercury a square. So Uranus is at 23 degrees, or sorry, Uranus is at 23 degrees, Mercury at, I can say this, honest. Uranus is at 27 degrees. Mercury's at 23 degrees. So we got 4 degrees between them about too. And that leaves them in a loose square as well. And we have another square again between Mars and Neptune here. So in addition to that, we have the opposition between Neptune and Venus. So with all this together, there's some conflicting energy. There's some tension. There's some desires to maybe turn a corner and you're not able to, you don't have what you need to turn that corner, or things aren't going the way you had planned. But there's also some positive things. in this mix. It's not all difficulty. There is Pluto in a positive configuration with Neptune. This is long term. And both of those in a positive configuration with Uranus. This is kind of a hum in the background. It may not be hugely impactful in a momentary incident in your life, like the personal planets are. These transpersonal planets are much more about creating the mood, the background again. But we have Pluto at this very important 29 degrees for a long time, and Neptune, again, for a long time at an important anorexic degree point, 29 degrees, and Uranus approaching that degree point. In fact, it's retrograde now, but it will be retrograde before it reaches 29 degrees. These three will be in a configuration for a long term together in a minor trine. That's a positive aspect. That's something that can help us in the long term. The other positive aspect we have is Chiron in trine with Mercury. That can lead to healing words or communications that can be beneficial, especially in the Aries area of your chart. So Aries is also the new beginning sign. This is a way of healing maybe things that we're trying to get started with this new moon, giving them the best foot forward. So that's a general picture of this moon. And now let's take a little look at where our personal planets, Venus and Mars, are sitting. So right now, Venus is in Libra, and she's at home there. That's her home sign. That's where she loves to be. If she's not loving being in Venus, if Venus isn't loving being in Libra, then she's loving being in Taurus, because those are the places where she finds her joy. She also likes being in Pisces too, but those are the wonderful places for her, and she's just really happy right now. There's some stuff going on with Venus, though. She's conjunct the South Node and Black Moon Lilith at the same time. This is something we're approaching. It's coming closer. We're coming into this as we come into the full moon. So it's really more direct on the 3rd, 4th. A recommendation would be detach from your desires and let go of the fear of the unknown. Detach from your desires because Venus has to let go. And when we're talking about Venus, we're usually talking about something we want, something we desire, something we value. And in conjunction with the South Node, maybe it's a good time to do this deliberately. Working with the energy of the planets can be beneficial to us. How can you detach from your desires? Maybe this is a good time to volunteer at a food bank, give to a local charity, clean out your closet of things you no longer want and donate them. In conjunction with Black Moon Lilith, there may be something of the unknown. We may be fearful of giving something up, of what it may mean in the long term. So when Black Moon is conjunct the South Node, what we want to do is give up the fear of the unknown. So this may take, again, some meditation. You may want to think about how can I actually detach? And depending on where Libra sits in your chart, that'll make a bit of a difference. If it's sitting in your 2nd house, you might want to detach from actual money. If it's sitting in your 7th house, you might want to detach from a relationship. So depending on the house placement would be where you would maybe take a step back. But Libra is overall, after, say, the 7th of September, Libra is in good condition for the next couple weeks as she rides along in Libra, where she loves to be. Mars is moving fast in Gemini, square dreamy Neptune. Watch where you're going. Saturn says slow down, remember? So Mars isn't going to be here long. 2 years ago, Mars spent a very long time in Gemini, reworking your Gemini area. And this may be a reminder of whatever you went through in 2022. This could be a completion of what you went through in 2022, as it regarded that long-term stay of Mars in Gemini. Mars is now moving into your Cancer area, the Cancer area of your chart. And Mars doesn't really, it's not at home there. Mars is in its fall in Cancer. It has to be protective in Cancer. Its aggression is more in that protective mode than in the energizing mode that it might be in, say, Aries. So we're going to also have a very long time of Mars in the Cancer house. So we're going to talk about that a lot more in the future. We'll discuss it on our next moon video in more detail. So again, a bunch of squares are going on. We've got the Saturn square, Jupiter, Saturn in Pisces, Jupiter in Gemini. This creates tension. And we've got the Mars square Neptune, Mars in Gemini, Neptune in Pisces. So 2 planets in Pisces and 2 planets in Gemini squaring off. This is powerful energy, especially with Saturn and Jupiter involved and Mars. We've got a lot of malefic energy with Saturn and Mars and a lot of confusion with Neptune. Saturn is not at her best when she's in this square. The light's on her, but she may be in a position of a less positive position than, or we'll go with Jupiter. He may be in a less positive position than normal. The watery structures you built in your Pisces house are in conflict with what you're trying to expand. That's Jupiter in your Gemini house, which means you're spinning your wheels. There's Mars, due to confusion, Neptune, or unrealistic views. So these are some things that you need to be aware of, these squares, and also take a look at what are the things that are positive. Here's taking a look at the square configuration. Again, our full moon with the sun at 11 degrees. And here's Saturn opposite, and square it all is Jupiter. So, and with Mars coming into a square here as well. So this configuration is tense, and it marks a place. Because it's a new moon, this tension is something we're going to be feeling or working with for the next cycle, for the full new moon cycle. So a new moon is not just, hey, it's this right this day. This marks a spot that is true for the next month. And we revisit in 2 weeks when we have the full moon and things come to culmination. And we can see, well, what was this all about? And how is it playing out? So we want to align with the trines. There's some good trines in this. Venus trine Pluto allows us to dig deep. Mercury trine Chiron allows us to, again, heal the communication. And this long-term forming minor trine with Pluto, Neptune, and Uranus means that the hum behind us, the general, music in the background is playing more positive. It's a more positive tune than we've been hearing in the past. And that's going to keep us whistling and help us feel good. On some level, because of Venus trine Pluto, we're harvesting something. This is harvest time. What did you plant? You may be able to reap the benefits from your latest deep dive. That's Pluto. And the communication that you are involved in can be healing. So a change in perspective can take a long time. This background hum that we feel changing, becoming more positive, it's not a snap your fingers and everything is beautiful. It's much more of a, wow, I feel it coming. Things feel a little bit better. What can I do to help it along? And we want to be, when we're talking about sextiles, which is Neptune sextile, Pluto sextile, Uranus, that requires our investment. Sextiles require a little bit of energy and effort. Trines come easy. Sextiles require a little work. So this is a good time to think about how this change of perspective may be played out in the long term and what you can do to help it along. And here's a look at this minor trine. So I hope you have a wonderful new moon in Virgo, and we'll see you at the full moon.